Hey everyone, what's up? I hope you're doing good today. And today I'm going to have a look at Sphere Financial. They have seen massive growth since their launch and they currently have a market cap of 179 million. Sphere is an auto staking and rebasing protocol on the Polygon chain, and it offers an APY of just under 100,000%, which is a daily return of investment of roughly 1.9%. Basically what you do is you buy the Sphere token, Sphere takes that money, it invests it in buying governance tokens from other protocols, and all you do is hold the Sphere in your wallet, and that slowly it gets bigger and bigger over time. This is a massive project with a lot of moving parts, and I'm going to do my best to break it down for you. And also near the end, I'm gonna actually go ahead and buy some Spheres so you can see what you need to do if you are interested in this project and you do want to buy some Sphere. And also, nothing I say in this video is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so please always do what you think is best for you and always do your own research. The way to make money with this project is actually pretty easy. All you need to do is buy Sphere tokens, and these tokens will automatically increase in your wallet. You don't have to do anything except just have Sphere in your wallet. This protocol uses the power of compounding interest with its tokens, and you can see on the graph here that basically the longer that you hold the token, the more of the token you're eventually going to get. Now, obviously, with crypto, you can't really predict anything more than a couple of months ahead at most. So even the devs themselves suggest that probably taking profits is a good idea, but the longer you do leave the token in your wallet, then the more Sphere you're going to have. There are three main things which makes this project stand out and what gives it life, and they are its black hole treasury, its quantum liquidity as a service, and its perpetual APY mechanism. Now, what the heck does all that mean, you ask? Very good question. I asked exactly the same thing. But when I got into it and when you actually break it down, they are relatively simple. The black hole treasury is a treasury that sucks governance tokens into it from all different protocols on the Polygon chain and never lets them out. In other words, people vote for what governance tokens they want to buy, and Sphere Finance will go out and buy all of those tokens and never sell them. It will make money from holding the tokens in a thing called vote escrow, which is a mechanism where you lock up the tokens for a certain amount of time and you get greater voting power in different protocols, and you also get greater liquidity fees for providing liquidity. And the governance tokens and the whole idea behind this black hole treasury is actually really important for Sphere, because whereas most other protocols will say buy a stablecoin and stake it for a 10% yield, but what Sphere will do is they'll get these governance tokens so they can directly impact the actions of other protocols in a way to best benefit Sphere holders. The concept of QlaaS, or quantum liquidity as a service, is a completely new one in DeFi, and basically Sphere's Financial came up with this concept. How it works is that with normal liquidity, the liquidity pool is pretty much just sitting there doing nothing. So for example, if you have Matic and USDC, there's a whole massive pool of Matic and USDC just sitting there. And unless somebody wants to buy a stupidly large amount of Matic, then all the liquidity is not actually going to be used. So you can almost say that this liquidity is just sort of sitting there going to waste. What Sphere Finance proposes to do is to take that liquidity which isn't being used and to farm it to earn a yield. And what's more is that Sphere is actually going to offer this as a service to other projects. So other projects and other protocols can pay a fee to Sphere Finance, and then Sphere Finance can do the quantum liquidity. And the third big thing with the Sphere protocol is the perpetual APY mechanism that it's got. Now, at the moment, the APY is just under 100,000%. And let's admit it, that is ridiculously high and pretty much unsustainable. But what the project is going to do in version 2 of the contract, which is currently getting written, is they're going to introduce this new perpetual APY thing. And there is this excellent thread by Keto Tenma, who basically goes through and explains exactly what the perpetual APY is. And I think the first one here, where he says perpetual APY will be recalculated each day to a rate where a year's worth of emissions at that APY will cost the protocol less than the treasuries are projected to make in that same year. What this means is that the APY is always going to calculate it that the amount of money in the treasury projected over a year is always going to be enough to cover the APY that they're going to be offering. What this means is that the APY will eventually start to slowly come down dependent on how much is in the treasury. So having a lower APY means selling less tokens, which means less crazy charts, which means more people are going to be wanting to get into the project. With the taxes, there's a 13% buy or transfer tax, and there's a 20 to 25% sell tax. The protocol also has a burn mechanism, which happens with, I think, all the buys, maybe sells. There wasn't a lot of information I could find regarding the burn, but I think the percentage of the burn is roughly 3%. There's no doubt that Sphere Finance does have a lot of new ideas and a lot of innovation that they're trying to bring to this project and the DeFi space in general. And they really have hit the ground running since launch. And they are already making alliances with projects like Dystopia, which is a DEX, with Penrose, which is a project that helps startups with scaling and advice and expertise and that type of stuff, and Parrotly, which is a company that aims to bring big business and big corporations into crypto by bridging the gap between centralization and decentralization. And obviously these collaborations are quite good because with the three projects in question, they all benefit, they all complement each other, they're all going to gain from this partnership. So I think that's only going to have positive action for the price of the tokens for all of them. With version 1 of the contract, it has been audited by Certix and Solidity. They've done a KYC with Obsidian, and they do have a multi-signature wallet with 7 people on it, but the liquidity isn't locked. And the reason it's not locked is because they need it for the quantum liquidity as a service, because they're going to be doing it with their own liquidity as well as with other people's, and you obviously can't do that if all the liquidity is locked away. In my opinion, it is exciting to see Sphere doing some quite original things, like wanting to get governance tokens to be able to influence the sort of roadmap of all these other projects. I also feel that because of Sphere's flexible APYs and its burn mechanisms and its taxes, that this could be a protocol, a high rebasing protocol that actually does stick around, like, for example, Seifu, which is another rebasing protocol, which is actually doing quite well at the moment. And also the community is really strong behind this project. It is a really good community. So what about the bad stuff with this project? Well, obviously there's a thing which is a little bit niggling to me in the fact that the liquidity pool isn't locked. And I just think it's like that because people sort of expect that to happen now, because that's pretty much the only guaranteed way of the liquidity staying there, so everybody actually has access to that. And also, as this protocol promotes that it has a deflationary token, the only way that it can really be deflationary is by the Perpetual APY mechanism and also all the burns. And are the burns going to be enough to keep it deflationary when the power of compounding interest comes in? Because if we think like 3 or 4 months down the line and there's lots more wallet holders and they've just been holding and not really selling a whole lot, that's going to be a lot of Sphere tokens floating around. So are the burns going to be enough to counter that and make sure that the inflation doesn't get out of control? For me, a thing to consider too is that the Perpetual APY mechanism is based on a year's worth of profits. And obviously it's pretty much impossible to go out that far. So are those calculations going to be enough to make sure there's no massive sell-offs or the APY isn't just jumping around all over the place because it is calculated on a day-to-day basis? Honestly, I like this project and I found it difficult to find really glaringly obvious red flags. And obviously only time is going to tell if all the things that they've got in place to keep the project going are going to keep it going. In a second, I'm going to show you how to buy Sphere if you want to buy it. But first, let's do Riskfi. Here is the Riskfi for Sphere Financial, and you can see they've done 2 KYCs. They do burns, flexible APY, QlaaS, and they have governance tokens. They have a 7-person multisig, which should be enough, but the liquidity isn't locked. But the audits, they've done one with Certix and Solidity, and version 2 will be audited when that comes out. There's a lot of innovation with the project. They are very active on all their socials, and you only hold the token, which means you can sell at any time. So overall, that gives Sphere Finance a Riskfi score of 8.4. And you can see on the Riskfi scale that that is solid, safe, and you need this in your bag. Now I'm going to explain how you can buy Sphere if you want to buy some. So you just come to the main website and you click Enter Dashboard. This will take you to the app. You just come up to swap. This takes you to Bogged Finance, which is where you can swap it for Sphere. And you need to make sure that you have Matic in your MetaMask. So you can buy that from any type of exchange. You connect your wallet. I bought about $500 worth of Matic. I've got 357, but you should never put the max amount in because you always want to save a little bit for gas fees. So I'm going to put in 355 Matic. That's going to give me 7,318 Sphere. So let's go ahead and swap. So now I've bought the tokens, and if you open your MetaMask again, you'll notice, well, where are the Sphere tokens? So what you have to do is you actually have to add them to your MetaMask. And how to do that is you go over to Discord, to their links, and you click on Sphere Finance Polygon Scan. This will take you to the contract address. So you just copy the address and put it into your MetaMask. You open your MetaMask, come down to import tokens, paste it in. It'll all automatically fill out. Add the custom token. And now you can see in my MetaMask, I have 6,386 Sphere. So what do you think, my friends? What do you think of Sphere Financial, about the burn mechanisms and the high APY, even though eventually it is going to get reduced? Would love to know your comments and what you think about it all. Please leave a comment, and until next time, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.